Hello there, welcome back. Thank you for joining me on my quest to understand more about mindfulness and the fundamentals and attitudinal approach that will help us in our practice. And as I'm deepening my own learning and understanding, it's quite helpful to share that here in this space. So, welcome along. Today, I'm looking at letting go of one of those fundamental attitudes that we need in order to be practicing mindful meditation in a way that's really helpful to us. And what is letting go? So, my understanding of it is that it's a bit like the non-striving that I've talked about before. It's that sense of not having a desire about what the mindfulness needs to be, how we are seeking something, how we are looking for something. It's almost like having a goal that we want for the practice. And instead, it's letting go of the forcing. So instead, it's allowing. So letting go of forcing something, wanting to be relaxed, wanting to be calmer, wanting to let go of the nagging thoughts that keep going and going, wanting the body to rest, to settle. And instead, it's allowing. So, John Kabat-Zinn talks about this allowing. Um, his quote, I suppose, for mindfulness meditation, the purity of it is, and this is what he says, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. And what does that mean? So that means letting go of the judgment. So letting go of the practice needing to be different from what it actually is. So that's the quest. That's the intention for today's practice, which we're going to do a little bit later. So it's understanding that nature of our desire for something and wanting it to be something and the struggle that can come when we find ourselves struggling with that. So, um, I'd like us to think about, because this has really helped me, this whole understanding of the nature of letting go in the way that we breathe. So something that happens fundamentally for us is the breath in and out, that we don't pay attention to it a lot of the time. Sometimes we utilize it and we sort of deeper breaths, or when we're exercising, when we're in meditation, we might focus on the breath, but it's happening day and night, whether we are forcing it or not. It's just happening. And the concept of letting go, if we think about it in every breath in comes in and naturally the breath goes out. So the act of letting the breath out means that it's allowing room for the next breath to come in. So think about that in terms of the breathing. So if we are just allowing that breath to go out, then we are enabling the next breath to come into that space. So I like that idea. And it's something that can be really helpful as a basis for understanding that letting go, the art of letting go, in order to provide that space for something else. And let's think about this now. So, if we are understanding this concept of letting go and the need to try not to strive for something else, to want an outcome from this practice, then in that letting go, let's look at this in the context of our narrative. And when I work with clients in therapy or when I'm coaching people, often we're looking at this narrative in particular because we are holding a narrative. Our mind is bringing up information. It's almost like we're overlaying our narrative on an experience. And what Eckhart Tolle says, and he's done a lot of work, as you may well know, around meditation and mindfulness, is that when we are experiencing or listening to that narrative, that story about what's happening, we stop seeing the experience itself and we start seeing the story, our story about the experience. So Eckhart Tolle talks about it as life situations then rather than life itself. So when we are in that mode of explaining to ourselves, oh, this means that, or this should be happening here, or why is that not happening? Is this good? Is this bad? What we're doing is we're overlaying that experience with our need for understanding, maybe, or deeper knowledge, but it's getting in the way of the experience. And this is the bit for me that I am really working on when I'm looking at practicing mindfulness in this pure form. So if you notice that, how does that play out in everyday situations? So we might notice it when we are having a conversation with somebody, and then afterwards we might go over that. So we start to overthink what's happened in that conversation. Say it was a disagreement, or we've seen something in the garden, maybe, oh, I must get back to that later. Oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. Or if it's that conversation running over ways that I could have handled that better, or what do they mean when they said that? But what happens is that we are now not in the experience, we are in the story of the experience, and we're getting caught up and we're in a struggle. We're in a struggle with the narrative that we have been in. And Toll goes on to say that most of our suffering actually doesn't come from what is happening, it comes from the resistance of what is happening. So we are overlaying the story and experiencing it through this story, and there is a struggle often because we don't want what's there and we're trying to change it in some way in our minds, and we get caught up in the overthinking. So it's an interesting concept here, isn't it? And if we look at that in our everyday life, well, how do we change that? It's noticing that we are having these thoughts, noticing that we are attaching a meaning or a way of looking at something. And I'm going to bring that into this mindfulness practice today as much as possible. So, what we're looking for is to let go of the interpretation, let go of the suffering. So, being purely with the experience rather than our interpretation or what we want or don't want from that experience. So, letting go of that resistance, letting go of wanting it to be different than it really is right now. So, we're not trying to force it, we're not trying to overlay, we're trying to be, letting be instead of letting it run with us. And what we're trying to do then is allow space for other things to arise up. I love this view of the stories or the experience and what we're telling ourselves and the struggle that we're in is like the ocean waves coming in, and we're getting caught up and turned over with the waves and thinking the waves is what the ocean, but it's not. It's the turmoil that we're noticing, and deeper, further out, it's much stiller, it's much calmer, and there's a bigger experience to be had. So that might help you when we're doing our practice. So I invite you to join along with me. So you can start from this point, you can repeat this. I'm going to share the screen with just an image, and I'll be in the corner just so that you have less distractions potentially from seeing my big face in the whole arena of it. So this isn't about doing. So when we're doing this practice today, it's not about doing. The aim or the intention of this is to practice letting go. So that fundamental attitude and that approach, not only for mindfulness, but also in our own life, of recognizing when we get caught up in overthinking, in storytelling about an experience and not really being in the moment, struggling with our thoughts or our feelings or our physical sensations in the moment and not experiencing just as it is. Okay, so that's the intention. We're not trying to fix anything, just letting things be as they are. So find a comfortable position. So that could be sitting or lying down. Let your eyes gently close, or soften your gaze on something and allow yourself to be in this present moment. So taking one natural breath, so not a deep breath, it's not performing in any way, just a breath. Let it arrive on its own, and a leaving. Notice how you're not asking the breath to come or go, you're just allowing. So it's not forcing the breath, you're just allowing that breath and you're just aware of it. You're letting go of that forcing. Really aware of that breath just coming in and out, in and out. Letting go isn't about pushing things away. It's not about emptying your mind or forcing stillness. It's about noticing what's already here. So in this moment, right now, noticing a thought, noticing any tension in the body, a story that you're telling yourself. And when we're noticing, we're simply not adding anything to it right now. We're not trying to make something happen, not trying to get to a point of relaxation. We don't need to resolve any thoughts or issues. We don't need to understand it. It doesn't have to be different right now. This is at the heart of letting go, of letting things be. It's about meeting things in this moment as it is, not as you wish it would be. Bring your attention gently to the breath. Wherever you feel it most naturally. So that could be on the inhale, could be the rise and fall of the chest, could be the movement in your ribs, the air in your nostrils. Paying attention just as it is. And as you breathe, thoughts are going to come, as they do. And every time you notice yourself caught up in those thoughts, just name it softly. This is thinking. I'm noticing I'm having a thought. Oh, I'm planning. Or I'm remembering. I'm letting it go. No forcing, just let it go. Not because it's wrong, not because it's right to have the thoughts. You don't need to follow them. Just let it be. Every time you notice your mind wandering away from your breath, just noticing what's arisen and letting it go. It's the same with any sensation that attracts your attention. Just be aware of it. Let go of a struggle. Let go of any ideas of not wanting it to be here, and instead, just let it be. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to explore it. can just allow it to be there. The way a cloud passes through an open sky. You are the sky, not the cloud. Notice if there's a pull, a desire for this to feel a certain way. Do you want to feel rested, calmer? That your mind is busy, you want it quieter. Part of the striving, the expectation. That is the struggle. See if you can let that go. Let whatever is there be there. Whether ordinary or imperfect. Every time the mind starts noticing and telling you something, wanting something, just acknowledge, be aware, bring yourself back to the breath and let go. There's another cloud in the sky, whatever it is that you were experiencing was pulling you away. Letting go, letting be. And as we come to a close, I'll leave you with the words from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Words that sit at the heart of this practice. Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen as to be as they are. And you will have a tranquil flow in life. Letting go, letting be. When you're ready, opening your eyes, orientating yourself back into the room where you are. Just be aware of this practice, and however it turned out, it's fine. It's okay just as it is. Again, no expectations, just that intention to practice and allow whatever showed up to be. That's the experience. All right. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for taking this time. I welcome any feedback. Please subscribe if you haven't. The more subscribers I have, then I can do these live, and that'd be fantastic. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care.